تو کہ آنکھوں سے ایک دریا بہائے گا، وہ کارواں سرور کا جو شانوں سے نکلا تھا، وہ کارواں سرور کا جو شانوں سے نکلا تھا، سغرا کو خبر کیا تھی نہ لوٹ کے آئے گا، مہمان بلایا ہے اے کوفیو سرور کو، مہمان بلایا ہے اے کوفیو سرور کو، کیا کنبہ شہیدی کا پانی نہیں پائے گا، پامال ہوا قاسم یوں گورو کے ٹاپوں سے، پامال ہوا قاسم یوں گورو کے ٹاپوں سے، کس طرح چچا تیری میت کو اٹھائے گا، ٹوٹی ہے کمر شے کی گھبرانا مگر اکبر، ٹوٹی ہے کمر شے کی گھبرانا مگر اکبر، فرزند نبی تیری لاشے کو اٹھائے گا، سوتے نہ تم اصغر جھولے میں تڑپتے تھے، سوتے نہ تم اصغر جھولے میں تڑپتے تھے، دنیا کو خبر کیا تھی ایک تیر سلائے گا، اصحاب نے دم توڑا شبیر کے زانو پر، اصحاب نے دم توڑا شبیر کے زانو پر، کس زانو پہ سر اپنا شبیر کٹائے گا، کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا، دل والوں کے آنکھوں سے ایک دریا بہائے گا، صلو النبی۔
محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ انا للہ کرب و بلا اور آل ابا چاروں طرف ہے فوج جفا دریا پہ بھی ہے پہرا لگا پیاسے ہے اطفال شاہ قلب فطرت دے یہ صدا انا للہ انا للہ وہ گرمی وہ پیاسے بچے بالی سکینہ کہتی تھی سب سے امو گئے ہیں نہر پہ میرے مانگو دعا پانی آ جائے لیکن ایسا ہو نہ سکا انا للہ انا للہ خالی علم جب خیمے میں آیا بولی سکینہ کہیے بابا رہ گئے امو کیا لب دریا سر کو جھکائے شاہ والا کہہ نہ سکے کچھ اس کے سوا انا للہ انا للہ سن کے کلام سرور دی ثانی زہرا کہتی تھی ہائے میرا عباس نہیں ہو گیا مجھ کو اس کا یقین جائیں گی میرے سر سے ردا انا للہ انا للہ زیر عبا ایک ماہ منور میدان میں لائے ہے سرور پانی مانگا رو دیا لشکر دستے شاہ پہ ہنس پڑے اصغر گردن میں جب تیر لگا انا للہ انا للہ محسن میں یہ سوچتا ہوں پرسابانوں کو کیسے دوں بہتر ہے خاموش رہوں ہونٹوں سے کچھ بھی نہ کہوں آنکھیں بولے رزم بے قضا انا للہ انا للہ محمد و محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our guest speaker, Dr. Akber Mithani, respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Tomorrow the ladies' morning program will inshallah begin at 11 a.m. This will be held at the center here. After Zohrain prayers, they will have the Amal of Hazrat Abbas. Tomorrow evening, inshallah, our program will start at 7 p.m. You'll see some flyers around. This is for the flu shots that are going to be given free by Walgreens Pharmacy. This is this Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. And we'll also have our blood drive on Saturday at 6 p.m. We have the calendars available outside, Islamic calendars. That's for a requested donation of $5. Tonight's niyaz sponsored for the following marhumeen. Marhum Ahmad Khalfan, Marhuma Zainabai Ahmad Khalfan, Marhum Ahmad Ali Amir Khalfan, Marhuma Nargis Ibrahim Khalfan, Marhum Ibrahim Khalfan, and all marhumin of Khalfan and Chattu families. Tonight's Surah Yasin will recite for Ithal al-Thawab of Marhum Ahmad Khalfan, Marhum Zainabai Ahmad Khalfan, Marhum Ahmad Ali Amir Khalfan, sponsored by family members, and Marhum Khalfan A. Khalfan, Marhuma Zairabai Khalfan, and Marhum Nasir M. Jamal, and all marhumin of Khalfan and Jamal families. Al-Fatiha. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat.
Please recite one Surah Fatiha for Shafa'i Mariz as well, please. For all those people who are in difficulties, people in the community who may have illnesses and sicknesses. Some people have told me about the fact that soon after Muharram they are going to go for some procedures, medical procedures. And also, I ask you to remember my mother as well, who is not well. And for every mu'mineen and mu'minat who are in difficulties, especially in some of the other countries in the world who are facing difficulties and oppression and poverty and all kind of challenges. One Fatiha for Shafa'i Mariz, please. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع المذنبين وخاتم النبيين نبينا وشفينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فإليك يا رب نسبت وجهي وإليك يا رب مددت يدي فبعزتك استجب لدعائي وبلغني منايا ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء وسلاؤه البقاء يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بما أنت أهل وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد وهو أصدق الصادقين وقوله الحق. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء الله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآله. Elders of the community, respected scholars, my brothers and sisters in Islam, Salamun alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The ayah of the Quran, of course, that I have recited at the end of the khutbah is an ayah that is well known to most of you. For if you attend Jummah Salat regularly, you will know that this ayah is many times recited by the Imam of Jummah Salat because it comes from Suratul Jum'ah. And it is ayat number 6 of Suratul Jum'ah. And this particular ayah was revealed when the Jewish people of that time would say that they were the chosen ones. And therefore, they said that they were the only ones that will go to heaven. So they said, we are the chosen ones and we are the only ones that will go to heaven. Of course, sometimes the Khojas feel the same way, that they are the chosen ones and they are the only ones that are going to go to heaven. Inshallah. And this particular ayah was revealed to this Jewish people who claimed this, and they were very vehement in their claim that they were the chosen ones and they are the only ones who will go to heaven. And they said that if there were to be anyone else who goes to heaven, then it would be because of them that they would go to heaven. So here the Quran is saying to them, and it's challenging them. And the challenge that the Quran is saying that if you truly love the hereafter, you truly love the heaven so much, and if you truly love the hereafter, then why don't you desire for death? If you truly love the hereafter and think you are the right people, then why do you not desire death? In za'amtum annakum awliya'u lillahi min dunin nas fatamannawul maut. Why don't you desire death? If you are the wali of Allah, because you think you are the chosen ones, if you are the friends of Allah, right? And that's a very loose translation of the word wali. But let us use that translation for now. If you are the friends of Allah and you think you are the only one, then why don't you desire for death? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you will never do this. You will never desire for death. Why will you never desire for death? Because deep in your hearts, you know who you are. Deep in your heart, you actually know who you are. You have already sent your deeds forward, and you know your own deficiency, and that's the reason why you will never desire for death. And when you look at it, this is really the functions of the holy prophets, that came to us. They came to us to awaken the inner nature and the inner being of that individual so that we are able to evaluate ourselves on a regular basis. Their function really in guiding us was just to expose that inner fitra within us, that inner nature within us, because the inner nature of the human being is always directed towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So their function was that how can we awaken this inner nature of the human being so that they become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Quran is very clear here, right? In this particular ayah. It is outlining very clearly the signs of a wali. The signs of a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what the Quran is doing in this particular ayah. You see, it's just like a physician, right? It's like a doctor who makes a diagnosis. And I give examples of physicians because they are the easiest for me to do. And you know, it's like a doctor making a diagnosis. How does a physician normally make a diagnosis? He looks at the signs and the symptoms of that particular patient, and based on the signs and symptoms, he makes a diagnosis. So if a person comes to him and complains of increased thirst and increased urination, for example, and fatigue and all of that, he puts it all together and he says that I think you have diabetes. So he looks at the signs and then he makes a diagnosis. Similarly, if you have a desire for death, that desire for death is a sign to see if you are a wali of Allah. Do you desire death? Because if you're a true wali of Allah, Allah is saying in this ayah that if you really are, because although this is an ayah that was revealed for the Jewish people of that time, it of course applies to us. Quran is a dynamic book. It's not just a book for that time. It's a dynamic book. It applies to us today. So Quran's challenge to us is that if you, if us, if we, if I, if you think that you are a wali of Allah, you want to be the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then one of those key signs that you should have is a desire for death. So the question that Ayatollah Mutahhari poses, as far as his analysis of this ayah is concerned, is he says that is death really a desirable thing for everyone? Can death be a desirable thing for everyone? Now, I don't want your faces to be deathly in nature, okay? Because it's not going to. I mean, I want to give you, some things to reflect and ponder over. It's not a huge majlis on death, okay? It's a lecture on the desire of death, right? I remember, just as an aside, I was once, many years ago, I was asked to recite majlis in Auckland, in New Zealand, for Muharram. And they gave me the topic. And they said, Dr. Saab, the topic is death. 12 majlises on death. So I had to prepare 12 majlises on death. And when I was doing my research, I wouldn't sleep all night. So I would read these hadiths. And I remember my niece, she would listen to my majlis. And then she phoned me and she said, Akbar uncle, life is so hard. Why do you have to make death hard? So I'm quite aware of this, but work with me. So Ayatollah Mutahhari says, no, is death really a desirable thing? Is it a desirable thing for everybody? Can it be a desirable thing? Now there are three main schools of thought around this. And Ayatollah Mutahhari describes these three schools of thought. We want to analyze these schools of thought, and then we want to reflect and ponder, where are we within these three schools of thought? And where can we be within these three schools of thought? The first school of thought says that death should be desirable for everyone. It's the first school of thought. They say this because they say that the relationship of the human being with this world is like a relationship of a prisoner who is in a prison. And they say that the relationship of the soul, the relationship that the soul has with the body is such that the soul feels imprisoned within the body. Another example that they say is that it's like the relationship that a free bird has when it is in a cage. When you encage a bird, when you take a bird, and a free bird, and you put it in a cage, then that relationship that the bird has with the cage is the same relationship that the soul has with the body. The prisoner wants to be free, right? He wants to get out of that prison. Okay, the bird wishes to fly away from that prison of the cage, from that, entrapment that it is in that cage. It wants to fly away. So this school of thought says that the desire of the bird to free itself from the cage and the prisoner's desire to free itself from the prison is the same as the soul's desire to free itself from the body, because it is encaged and imprisoned in the body. So the soul desires to be freed from the body. And the only way that the soul can be freed from the body is if the body dies, right? If there is death. It is at death that the soul becomes free. So this school of thought says they believe that this is the relationship that every human being has. So the desire of death is inherent in every human being. They believe then that the soul comes into this world in a perfect state. That the soul is absolutely perfect and complete when it comes into this world. From the beginning, the soul is complete. Because the soul is complete, right, it becomes imperfect and deficient once it is imprisoned in the body. The imperfection of the soul, which is perfect from the beginning, it becomes imprisoned, and that's when it becomes deficient and imperfect. And so what it wants to do is it wants to free itself, and it wants to return back to the Lord, because that is the means of perfection for that particular soul. Yes? It's not that heavy, like seriously. It's pretty good, right? You can understand that? Yes, all right. You can talk to me. Yeah, everything's good, right? Okay, so that's one school of thought. The second school of thought is based on materialism, and it's based on the attachment to this dunya. It is a school of thought that is completely attached to the adornment of this world. Not only attached, but obsessed with the adornment of this world. And this school of thought is one where they believe that life and death starts and ends in this world. And they believe that death, therefore, is destruction, and life is existence. Therefore, this school of thought believes that at any cost, you want to stay alive in this world, because death means destruction and the end. Life in any form is better than death. This is the second school of thought. And the best way to describe this school of thought is by giving you an example from the books of Urafa. This is a very mashhur, example. You may have even heard it, right? It is a very common one that's given from the Urafa. So there is a young boy. Imagine this now. I want you to focus a little bit, right? So those who are on WhatsApp, just focus for a minute and then you can go back and do your Instagrams, right? So imagine there is a young boy, right? This is a parable, right? In the books of Urafa. A young boy is running in the jungle being chased by a lion. So this young boy is running and it is being chased by a lion. And as this boy is running, in the distance he sees a well. And he sees a metal rod and a rope that is hanging from the well. And he thinks to himself, if I can just get to that well, and I can just jump and hold on to that rope, I'll save myself from the lion. So he runs. And he runs really, really fast. He sprints and he jumps into the well. He gets hold of that particular rope. And now he's in the well and he's dangling back and forth in the well. The lion comes right to the end of the well, waiting for that boy. He's dangling, and the lion now is on top of the well, waiting for him. Now, this particular boy, he does something really bad. He looks down at the well. And when he looks down at the well, he sees a crocodile. A crocodile which has his mouth wide open, saying, it's about time, man. It's about time somebody came. So now he's dangling on this rope, lion is on top, and there is a crocodile down there who's got his mouth open, waiting for that boy. He's dangling. He thinks, and he thinks to himself and he says, just hold on. Just hold on for a little while, and one of these guys are going to go away. Just hold on. As he's dangling and holding on, he hears some noises of scratching. And he looks up at the rope and he sees two mice. One mouse is black and one mouse is white. And they are slowly eating away at the rope. Right? That's the scratching noise that he hears, right? These mice are biting and eating away at the rope. He looks up and he sees one's a black mouse and one's a white mouse slowly biting away at the rope. The story says that the lion represents death. The lion represents death that's always chasing after you. The crocodile represents your grave, open and waiting for you. And the black mouse and the white mouse represent day, white day, and black night. So they represent time ever so slowly chewing at the rope of life. This is who we are. This is really who we are. Death chasing us, grave waiting for us. We've hung on to that rope of life, and we have a black mouse and a white mouse chewing slowly away. Time slowly chewing away at the rope of life. But in this chaotic state, as he's dangling away, he looks at the wall and he smells and he sees some honey on the wall of the well. And as he sees the honey, he starts to feel hungry. So he swings himself onto the wall and he now starts to eat that honey because he is hungry. He's eating that honey and he becomes so engrossed in that honey that he forgets the lion and he forgets the crocodile and he forgets the white mouse and the black mouse. He's just engrossed in eating that honey. And that honey is the dunya. Al-dunya al-mal'una. There are two types of dunya, by the way. This is al-dunya al-mal'una. This is the adornment of life, of this particular world, that he becomes so engrossed in it, he becomes so engrossed in the dunya, that he forgets about everything around him, and he becomes heedless of everything. We have to understand this. And yesterday, alhamdulillah, some of the mu'mineen, a couple of my friends here, they took me to Manhattan. Man, it's amazing. Right? So we saw this dunya first from outside. Saw the skyline and everything. It was from, I think, somewhere from a place before we actually went into Manhattan. And I saw this, and it was amazing, right? And then we went into Manhattan. And I could see how engrossed and sucked up you could be, because when we hit Times Square, with all the bright lights and everything, and how it could suck you up into the dunya. To the extent that I said to Muntazir that next time I want to stay at the W on Times Square. And he said to me, that's not going to be possible. I said, okay. And so I was going to give him a message, and Sohail, who was incredibly, knowledgeable about the city, I was going to say that one of the things, for example, that is highly suggested in Islam is that you actually build your cemetery in the middle of the city. The reason Islam says you build your cemetery in the middle of the city is because you have to go into the city, you pass by the city, and every time you go through the cemetery, or every time you see the cemetery, it will remind you of death. I, of course, suggested that they should build a center in Manhattan. And he thought I was crazy, but that's okay. So that is something that we need to, the second school of thought, is this school of thought feels that everything belongs to the dunya. As soon as you die, you're done. So there is no desire for death. The desire is only for life. Because death is destruction and life is existence. So that's the second school of thought. The third school of thought is, of course, the school of thought that we believe in. This school of thought says that for many, death is desirable. But for many others, death is not desirable. And it depends on yourself. It depends on you, and it depends on what you have made of yourself. How you have developed and how you have raised your ethics and character and morality, and how you have raised your spirituality will depend on whether death becomes desirable or it does not become desirable for you. For some people, they have the right to desire for death. And the example Mutahhir gives in this, he said, this school of thought does not believe that death means destruction and life means existence. This school of thought does not believe that, the end in this world is death. Nor does this school of thought believe that the soul has come into this world in the most perfect state. It does not believe that. It does not believe that the soul came into this in the most perfect state and it became imperfect when it was imprisoned. This school of thought believes that the soul actually is eternal. But in the end, it did not come into this world in a complete, perfect form. It believes that when the soul came into this world, it was imperfect. It was not perfect. It was imperfect, right? It was, it believes, for example, that the soul has a potential. It's imperfect, but it has a potential that has yet to be activated and yet to be realized. And the job here really is that this dunya, this world, this limited world is absolutely necessary for the soul to become activated and for the soul to become realized. In this limited world, the human soul has to go through challenges, and through those challenges it needs to grow and it needs to become perfect. And it can only happen if it goes through those challenges. That is why you see in Islam will not say to you that I want you to live in this world, but I don't want you to get married. Right? We say, right? કે વિવાહ કરી ના પછી ખબર પડશે કે કેટલા વિશે શો થાય છે. બરાબર છે ને? Right? You get married, then you will know what it is like to live. Right? So the soul does not want that. It's in an imperfect form. This dunya, which is not this dunya al-mal'una, which is the example that I gave you of that young boy, this dunya is full of struggles. It's full of challenges. And those challenges are such that it develops your soul. So this theory says that the soul needs to go through this world in its trials and tribulations, and it becomes activated to realize its full potential. Its full potential can only be realized when it goes through this world. And when it does that, it elevates itself. It elevates to a higher realm, to a higher level, and that allows that soul to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no doubt that Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, he had to descend to this world. And my topic is not to give you the philosophy around Adamiyat. But Adam had to descend to this world because in order for him to ascend back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he had to descend. And that's why we have to be in this limited world. If we want to attain that high level of closeness to Allah, your descent is extremely important to this finite world so that you can use this world to ascend back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? The example that's given is the example of a relationship of a farmer with his farm. Or it is an example of the relationship of a student with his school. It's not about the bird in the cage. It's about a farm with his farmer or the student with the school, right? The world therefore becomes a place of refinement. It becomes a place of purification, right? The world is like an education system for you. It's a world where you use that. It's like the farmer needs to put tremendous effort to get his harvests and fruits, right? He has to put a lot of effort in order for him to get the really good harvest. The student has to study hard. He has to study really hard and make a lot of effort in his studies to gain those high marks and that degree that he's looking for. This is how you get perfection, right? The farmer tries to farm in the best of way. The student studies in the best possible way so that they may be able to benefit and reap their benefits of the efforts that they've put in once the effort has put in. And so you will see that when a farmer puts the best effort into his fields, or when a student puts his best energy and effort into studying, when they've given that final exam, or when the farmer has made that final, harvest that he's sown, they eagerly await for the results. A student, for example, who has really put efforts in, he's waiting for his marks to come. Because he knows that I've really put my effort in, and I'm going to get really good marks. So he eagerly awaits. Is it going to be a 95 or a 98? The student who has not put any effort in is what? He's not waiting for the marks to come, because he knows this is going to be bad news. The farmer who has not put an effort in his farm is not going to await his harvest, because he knows that it's going to be a disaster. Only when they put the effort in, they are going to await for the results. And that's what this third school of thought means. Only when you have put your efforts in this world, only when you have taken the challenges of this world and elevated yourself in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will you have a desire for death. Otherwise, you're not going to desire for death. If you're in that second group that feels destruction, death is destruction, then there is work that needs to be done. If there is fear of death to such an extent that you just don't want to die, there is no understanding that, have I done something that will allow me to reap the benefits of what I have sown in this world, then there will be no desire for death. And it means we need work to be done. We need a little bit of struggling. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he says the same thing. He says, this place is a place, this dunya, this world is a place of revelation and a place for the awliya to do their business. He uses the word tijara. He said this world is a place for the people to do their business, to start to invest in this world so that they can have that fruits and benefits in the hereafter. And when they get to that stage, they will desire for death. And the Prophet's hadith is the same hadith where he gives the example of a farm with a farmer, right? And he says that, the farm, that the dunya is a farm for the hereafter. And what you sow, it was what you will get in the hereafter. And this is the only way this ayah can be explained, right? Those who have not sent their good deeds forward will therefore never desire death. And so you need to go back and you need to reflect. You need to reflect. Have I reached that stage that if I was to have death, I'm good, I'm confident that it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine for me. Or do I have more work that I need to do? Because only those who have performed well and put their full efforts to purify themselves and realize their potential and their capacity will have the desire for death. Right? The ayah does not say that, if you're human, then desire for death. It's not what the ayah says. The ayah says if you are the awliya of Allah, if you are the friends of Allah, and every one of us can reach a potential of awliya that is within our capacity. Of course, the highest levels of awliya are our Ahlul Bayt and the Holy Prophet and so on. But for us, there is a level of awliya that we can reach, depending on what we do, right? Because if we're a sinner, death will not be a pleasant thing for us. And because it will not be pleasant, we never desire it. When you reach a high level, then you start to vision the fact that, there is something in the realm outside of this realm that will be something that you would desire. The problem that we have sometimes is we think that we're in this world, and then after this world, we're going to go to Barzakh. And then after Barzakh finishes, we're going to go to the day of Qiyamah, and then there'll be the hereafter. And then there'll be heaven, and there'll be hell. It's not like that. Barzakh is present right now. It's present right now. The problem is we don't see it. We are veiled from it because the soul is encaged in your body. When the soul comes out, then you will realize what barzakh is. When you commit a good deed, the good deed is actually translated in those realms of barzakh and the hereafter. You just don't see it. You recite dua, for example, in Shahru Ramzan, right? And you say, Fiqa raqabati binan nar. Yes? Yes? In Shahru Ramadan. What does that mean? You're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, release me from the fire of hell now. Not in the hereafter. Because right now you are burning in the fire of hell. If you take the right of an orphan, the Quran says, it is like you are swallowing balls of fire, right? The Quran says. Taking the rights of an orphan is, the punishment is, right, swallowing balls of fire. If you do that now, you are swallowing balls of fire right now. You just don't feel it. It's in a different realm. And it will come to a realization to you when the soul becomes free. That's the issue. Rumi, he says that when you are afraid of death, in effect, you are not afraid of death. You are afraid of your own inner reality that you're seeing. You're not afraid of death. You're afraid of your own inner reality. Death, he says, is actually like a mirror through which the human being sees his own reflection. And when that human being sees something good, he desires it. But when he comes in front of a mirror and if he sees something ugly, he wants to throw the mirror away. He does not desire it anymore. Death, he says, is actually like a mirror through which the human being is witnessing his own reflection. So now, of course, the question arises, right? And the question that comes is, if I desire something, then should I not try to achieve it? Should I not try to get it? If I desire something, then I should try and achieve it. And I should try and get it. So the question of suicide comes here. Yes? It's probably in your mind. But the awliya are those who, despite having a desire for death in their lives, they still fight against death. Why? The reason is because the awliya are such that they want to maximize as much as possible in this particular world in order to make sure that they get the best reward in the hereafter. The student will always ask you for more time to study. The conscientious student, right? The student who's partying all night is not going to ask you for more time, right? Maybe more time to party, right? But not more time to study. But the student who's studying will always ask for more time to study. Why? Because I want to be perfect. I want to know everything. So any tricky question that particular teacher puts in, I'm going to be able to answer it, right? So they ask for more time because they want to maximize their opportunity in order to reap the best of benefits. And that's what it means. This is because, the awliya want to maximize their time in this world. Because they know that the more they do, the closer they get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the closer they get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more they start to reflect their character, their names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more godly they become. And the more godly they become, the more elevated their position becomes. And the more elevated their position becomes, the higher status they receive in the hereafter. So they want to make the best of this world. That is why they desire death, but they also pray for a long life. This is why our fourth Imam, Imam Sajjad, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he says in Makarim al-Akhlaq, dua of Makarim al-Akhlaq, he says that, oh Allah, give me life only until that time that I am in your obedience. And he says that as soon as I'm in a position where I'm going to be taken over by shaitan, take my life away. Imam Sajjad. Wallah, I wish sometimes we read Makarim al-Akhlaq and Shahrul Ramazan with meaning. How beautiful is that, right? Of course, there are jurisprudential reasons as to why suicide is not allowed, and my expertise is not in jurisprudence, and I'm not going to give you the jurisprudential reasons, whether it is an amana from Allah, whether a life is amana from Allah, and so on and so forth. That's not the objective of what I'm trying to say. Mutahari says that, the definition of suicide is to actually refrain yourself from the opportunity to carry out good deeds and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what suicide is. And that's why it is such a big sin. You are refraining yourself from that opportunity. Allah has given you the blessings. He has even given you the doors of istighfar and the doors of tawbah, the doors of performing good deeds. Yet you decide not to avail yourself of it. How ungrateful can you be to this merciful Lord? So when you look at the preparation of death and the hereafter, there is a story, of course, that comes to mind from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I'm just going to reiterate this story. You probably have heard it, but I want to reiterate it for the children, right? Because there are children in the audience, and I want to make sure that sometimes this stuff is heavy and they don't get it. So I want to ensure that I address that as well, and it may be a good reminder for others as well. So once the Holy Prophet, he was sitting in Masjid Nabawi in Medina, and his companions were around him, and the Prophet tells them a story. And the Prophet says to him that there was a man in town who found out that the angel of death was on his way, and he was going to end his life. So this man wanted to protect himself. It's the Prophet now telling the story to his companions. And the companions are listening. And he said he wanted to end his life. And so he thought to himself, what should I do? How do I get away from this? What do I do? Because he realized that his state and his character was probably not of that where it was time for him to leave. So he thinks to himself, he says, let me go to my best friend's house and see if he can help me. So he knocks on the door of his best friend and he says, look, the angel of death, Malakul Maut, is after me and he's going to take my life and I want you to help me. So this particular friend says to him that, as long as you're alive, I'm here for you, man. But as soon as that Malakul Maut comes, I'm out of here. I had nothing to do with you. And I don't want him to see me because maybe I'll be next, So, he closes his door. So this man thinks to himself, he becomes very sad and he thought to himself, this is my best friend. This guy, we hung out together, we shisha together, everything was together. And, now he's not even wanting to help me. And he thinks to himself and he says, well, I have another friend. He's not as close, but he's pretty good. He's a good acquaintance. So he goes to the house of the second friend. He's a little bit apprehensive, but he said, I think we're close enough. He knocks on the door and he says to this second friend, he says, look, Malakul Maut is after me. The angel of death is coming. I need your help. And the second friend says to him, he says, look, no problem, man. He says that if you die, I will make sure you get ghusl and kafan. And he says that not only that, I will even recite namaz-e-janazah behind you. He said, no, not even that, but I will take you to the graveyard and I will bury you inside the grave. I will even recite talqeen for you. Allahu Akbar. What a nice friend. I will even recite talqeen for you. But he says, as soon as that grave closes, I'm done. There's nothing else I can do for you, man. I'm out of there. So now this man was not satisfied. He wanted more. And he thinks to himself and he says, I've got a third friend. Now this friend is, I would say, just sort of an acquaintance. Sometimes, I would be with him, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes, if I had something going on, I would invite him. Sometimes I wouldn't invite him. But he said, "Apan try kariles." We do that, right? If we have a problem, right, we go to this person and that person, and we go to a doctor and this and that. And when nothing works, somebody says to you, "Ke aa dua par je chotha imam ni dua che." So we say, "Apan try kariles." પછી મારા દુઆ કબૂલ નથી થતી. Right? Anyway, so he said, let me just try this as well. So he goes to his third friend's house, knocks on the door, says the same thing, the angel of death is coming. The third friend responds to him and he says, look, I'll be with you. I'll be with you when you die. I'll be with you during your ghusl and your kafan. I'll be with you during your burial and your talqeen. Not only that, I will enter the grave with you. I'll be inside the grave with you. I will hold your hand in your grave. In fact, I will be with you during barzakh. I will be with you until you reach the gates of heaven. I will not leave you. Now the Prophet says to his companions, who are these three friends? Of course, the companions are confused, right? And he says, Prophet, we don't know. Who are these three friends? He says, the first friend who said that I'm only with you until you are alive is your wealth and your assets and this dunya. It's only going to be with you until you're alive. And he said, the second friend wasn't as close as the first, is your family and your children. They'll give you the burial. They will put you in the grave. They'll recite talqeen, and then at the same time they'll say, what has he left for us? But he said, your third friend is your amal salihah, are your good deeds, are the deeds that you reap in this particular world. It is those deeds that you reap in this particular world that are going to be with you until the day of judgment. And until we look at that and reflect that, have I sent those deeds forward? And because I have sent those deeds forward, am I eagerly awaiting and am I yearning to meet my Lord? That's where the desire of death comes. I want to meet my Lord because I'm confident of what I've done in this world. And you see the example of this in Hazrat Qasim in Karbala. Look at this boy, 13 years old, 12, 13, not anymore. Look at this person, look at this personality of Qasim. This young youth of Karbala, he hears that the Imam has a list in which the names of the people who would be martyred the following day, on the day of Ashura, is written. And he comes to the Imam. And he says to the Imam, look at how he has reached that peak of spirituality. Look at the confidence of this youth of Karbala. He has reached that place where not only has he recognized the truth, not only has he applied it to his life, he's ready to die for it. And he comes to his Imam, his uncle, and he says to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, oh uncle, am I in the list? And Imam Hussein says to Qasim, Imam wants to test Qasim, right? And he says to Qasim, oh Qasim, we are on the path of truth. But before I answer you, tell me, how do you find death? And look at the response of Hazrat Qasim, right? Hazrat Qasim says that, oh my uncle, I find death to be sweeter than honey. Allahu Akbar. The desire for death. Sweeter than honey. The confidence that I've done everything that I need to be able to face my Lord in the most pure and pristine form. Qasim. The son of Imam Hassan, he comes to Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura and he asks for permission to fight. And Imam alayhi salam says to him that, oh Qasim, do you realize that whenever I want to see the face of my brother Hassan, I see and look at your face, for you are a spitting image of my brother Hassan. And whenever I want to see him, I look at you. How can I give you permission to go into the battlefield? And Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam goes to his mother, Farwa, and he says to Farwa, oh mother, Abu Abdullah, he says, my uncle does not give me permission to go and fight. And the historians write that Farwa had eyesight that was weak. Because she had weak eyesight, she says to Fizza, go and tell Hussein, go and tell Abu Abdullah to come to my tent, outside of my tent, for I want to talk to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Fizza goes to Abu Abdullah and she says to Abu Abdullah, oh my master, Farwa has asked you to come outside her tent. As Abu Abdullah comes outside the tent, Farwa says to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, oh my master, is it my fault that I am a widow? Allahu Akbar. Is it my fault that I am a widow? She says that for today, if my husband Hassan had been alive, you would have also been in need of the permission of Hassan. Hussein started to cry. As Hussein started to cry, Hazrat Qasim remembered that there was a small amulet. There was a small amulet that Imam Hassan had given to Hazrat Qasim. And he has said to Qasim, oh Qasim, open this at the time when you are in in the situation of most difficulty. And Qasim smiled and he said, there can be no other situation than the difficulty that I am facing right now. He opened that amulet, and in it he saw that there were two letters. One letter was addressed to Hazrat Qasim, and the other letter was addressed to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Hazrat Qasim opened his letter, and in it Imam Hassan wrote to Hazrat Qasim. He said, "Oh Qasim, no doubt you will be opening this letter in the fields of Karbala. When you open this letter, give the other letter to your uncle Abu Abdullah." Now Hazrat Qasim smiled. He came with the letter. He gave it to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam Hussein looked at the letter of Hazrat Qasim. Immediately he looked at the letter of Imam Hassan. Immediately he began to cry. He remembered the face of Imam Hassan. He remembered that time when Imam Hassan was poisoned. He remembered that time when Imam Hassan was not allowed to be buried in Masjid al-Nabawi. He started to cry. In the letter, Imam Hassan wrote to Abu Abdullah, "Oh my brother Hussein, it is time for you to give permission to my Qasim so that he may be sacrificed on my behalf." Azadaro, the historians write that Imam gave permission to Qasim, but Imam dressed Qasim himself. In the whole of Maqtal, this is the only shaheed that I get, that Imam dressed him in such a way. He dressed him in white clothes, as if Imam was putting the kafan on Hazrat Qasim. Azadaro, Qasim came into the battlefield. Umar ibn Sa'd said to his warrior, he had one warrior by the name of Arzak al-Shami. He said to Arzak al-Shami, "I want you to go and kill Qasim." This mal'oon, he laughed and he said to Umar ibn Sa'd, "Oh Umar ibn Sa'd, I have 4 young boys. They are enough for this young boy. They are 4 young boys. One of them is going to be enough for Qasim." At that time, Arzak sent his first son to fight Qasim. As this first son of Arzak came to fight Qasim, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein stood outside the tent of Farwa. Abu al-Fadl Abbas joined Abu Abdullah. Abu al-Fadl Abbas said to Abu Abdullah, "Oh my master, do dua for my Qasim, for the son of Arzak has come to fight Qasim." Hazrat Qasim killed the first son of Arzak. At that time, Arzak sent his second son to fight Qasim. As the second son came, Abu al-Fadl Abbas came to Abu Abdullah. He said, "Oh Abu Abdullah, pray for my Qasim that he fights the second son of Arzak. He seems to be much more braver than the first son." Hazrat Qasim killed the second son. Now Arzak, in rage, he sends his third son to fight Hazrat Qasim. When the third son comes, now Abu al-Fadl Abbas comes to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and he says, "Oh Abu Abdullah, oh my master," he said, "Qasim is hungry for 3 days. He has been thirsty for 3 days. Do dua that Qasim is able to be successful." Imam Hussein alayhi salam does dua. Qasim kills the third son and he kills the fourth son of Arzak. When all 4 sons of Arzak they are killed in Karbala, now Arzak gets raged. He gets agitated. He gets angry. He himself comes to the Maidan of Karbala. He himself comes to the field of Karbala. At this point, now Abu al-Fadl Abbas did not say to Abu Abdullah that please pray for Qasim. Now Abu al-Fadl Abbas comes to Abu Abdullah and he says to Abu Abdullah, "Oh my master, Arzak himself has come to fight Qasim. Now give me the permission that I would go and fight." At that time, Imam Hussein says to Abu al-Fadl, he says, "Oh Abbas, wait, this is the son of Hassan. This is the grandson of Amirul Mu'mineen. Don't worry, Hazrat Qasim kills even Arzak Shami. When Arzak Shami dies, now Umar ibn Sa'd, he says to the people, you cannot fight this young boy one-on-one. I want you to surround him, and surround him in such a way that he has no way of escaping. They surrounded Hazrat Qasim. They started to throw stones at Hazrat Qasim. They started to fire arrows at Hazrat Qasim. One Mal'oon came from behind a tree, and he came with a sword, and he hit the sword on the head of Hazrat Qasim. When the sword hit Hazrat Qasim, he came onto the burning fields of Karbala. He said, oh my uncle, come and help me. The historians write, when Abu Abdullah heard the cry of Qasim, he ran into the fields of Karbala like a lion runs into the jungle. He ran in such a way that the people thought that Abu Abdullah himself has come to do a fight. He has himself come to fight. So the horses that were on the left side ran to the right side. The horses that were on the right side went to the left side. Azadaro, Qasim ne jab Arzak ko wasil jahannam kiya hai, Umar Saad ne jab ye lashkar ko diya tha, jab ye lashkar ko hukum diya tha कि कासिम को घेर लिया जाए, जब कासिम पे वार हुआ है और कासिम ज़मीन करबला पे आया है, एक मर्तबा आवाज दी चचा जान अब कासिम की मदद के लिए आओ. इमाम हुसैन तेजी के साथ मैदान करबला में गए. मुअर्रिख लिखते हैं कि मशरिक के घोड़े मगरिब की तरफ दौड़े और मगरिब के दो घोड़े मशरिक की तरफ दौड़े. आजादारों, इस हंगामे में कासिम का लाश घोड़ों की टापों से पामाल हो गया. कासिम का लाश घोड़ों की टापों से पामाल हो गया. हुसैन जब कासिम की लाश पे पहुंचे हैं, ये वाहिद शहीद है जो कब्ले व शहादत घोड़ों के टापों से उसकी लाश पामाल हुई है. आजादारों, जब इमाम लाश कासिम पे आए हैं तो पामाल लाश कासिम को देखा. एक मर्तबा इमाम ने अब चाहा कि इस लाश को खैमगाह की तरफ ले जाया जाए. आजादारों, इमाम जब कोई लाश लाते थे तो कोई लाश सीने से उठा के लाई है या किसी लाश को इमाम ने अपने कंधे पे उठा के लाई है. शशमाह की लाश इमाम ने अपने हाथों से उठाई है. कुरान रखिए मेरे सर पे, कासिम की लाश इमाम ने अपने हाथों से नहीं उठाई है, ना ही इमाम ने अपने कंधे पे लगाई है. मुअर्रिख लिखते हैं कि इमाम ने अपना चेहरा लिया, कासिम के चेहरे पे रखा और कासिम की लाश घसीट घसीट के खैमगाह की तरफ लाए हैं. जब कासिम की लाश खैमगाह की तरफ खैमगाह में आई है, उम्मे फरवा ने फिजा को पूछा, फिजा क्या मेरे कासिम की लाश आई है? मेरा कासिम शहीद हो गया, क्या मेरे लाल की लाश आई है? उम्मे फरवा की बिनाई कमजोर थी. फिजा ने कहा, उम्मे फरवा अब अब्दुल्लाह कासिम की लाश घसीट घसीट के ला रहे हैं. एक मर्तबा इमाम ने कासिम की लाश को लिया, अली अकबर की लाश के साथ कासिम की लाश को रखा. अब इमाम ने एक अजीब चीज की है. एक मर्तबा अपना एक हाथ अली अकबर के सीने पे रखा, दूसरा हाथ कासिम के सर पे रखा. मैं नहीं जानता कि इमाम ने क्या दुआ की है या फिर इमाम ने क्या कहा है. दिल कहता है कि शायद इमाम हुसैन ने इमाम हसन को बुलाया हो, शायद इमाम हसन की तरफ रुख किया हो और कहा हो, भैया अगर मेरा लाल अपने बर्छी खा के शहीद हुआ है तो तेरा लाल घोड़ों की टापों से शहीद हुआ है. और एक शायद ये कहा हो कि भैया जैसे तेरी लाश को 72 तीर लगे थे, हुसैन भी करबला की मैदान में 72 तीर का निशान. मातम हुसैन या हुसैन.
قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لا شاہ حسین پیٹو سرے اہل عزا لاتے ہیں لا شاہ حسین مادر قاسم نے لاش پہ رو کر کہا آ گئی تم کو قضا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین سن کا کروں کیا بیان سال تھا وہ تیرواں ہائے پرارماں چلا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین باپ کا نور نظر اماں کا لکھتے جگر کھل پسند آ گیا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین اماں سے رخ ساتلا کیوں نہیں ہوتے ہو سا کیا ہوا تم کو بلا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین لاش قاسم پہ جا پیٹ کے سر یوں کہاں کیوں ہوئی ہم سے خطا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین مرنے سے تیرے پسر ہوئیں گے ہم در بدر گر ہوا ماتم سرا لاتے ہیں لاش حسین کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا اے نامراد قاسم اے وائے وائے قاسم اے ہائے ہائے قاسم خوں میں نہائے قاسم اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی اب کیا کروں آدان نے تم کو مارا شادی کا گھر اجارا اب کون ہے ہمارا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم کیا کروں میں دکھیا زخمی ہے سارا چہرہ خون سے بھرا ہے چہرہ روتی ہے دادی زہرا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم کیا کروں قسمت نے یہ دکھایا دن بیاہ کے یہ رلایا بیوہ مجھے بنایا اے نامراد قاسم تیتی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اے تیتی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا
ہائے 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 قاسم ہے وائے وائے قاسم خوں میں نہائے قاسم اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تیرو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تیرو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا مراد قاسم ہے ہائے ہائے قاسم ہے وائے وائے قاسم خوں میں نہائے قاسم اے نامراد قاسم جواب آزادارو جواب مراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا اے نامراد قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو قاسم کہتی تھی رو رو کبرا اے نامراد قاسم اب کیا کروں میں دکھیا راد قاسم من آب نمی خواہم عباس امو جانم من آب نمی خواہم خواب سکا شہیدانن عباس علمدارم سکائے یتیمانم بے مونیس و بے یارم من آب نمی خواہم حب الحسین جواب من آب نمی خواہ ہیدان اندر خیمے زمین عابد افتاد علی اکبر اے مائے بنی ہاشم من آب نمی خواہ جواب آزادار حب الحسین دانن عباس علمدارم سکائے یتیمانم بے مونیس و بے یارم من آب نمی خواہ عباس امو جانم من آب نمی خواہ عباس امو جانم من آب نمی خواہ شہیدان اندر خیمے زمین عابد افتاد علی اکبر اے ماہ بنی ہاشم من آب می خواہ آب نمی خواہ عباس امو جانم من آب نمی خواہ ہیدان عباس علمدارم سکائے یتیمانم بے مونیس و بے یارم من خواہ عباس آب نمی خواہاں
عباس ابو جانم من آب
نمی خواہاں
سکائے شہیدان
جانر ماں آئی ہے بحال پریشان حسین نور جواب آزادہ جواب
حسین
اے نور نظر فاطمہ کی جان حسین بہالے بھوکے رہے پیاسے رہے دریا کے کنارے 10ویں کو گلا تیرا کتا حسین نور فاطمہ کی جان حسین نور جان حسین جنت سے بوکا کرتی ہوئی فاطمہ آئی سر پیٹ کے یوں کہنے لگی ہائے حسین نظر فاطمہ کی جان حسین بہار ان تیر برے جسم میں ناچار ہوں بیٹا سینے سے لگانے کی ہے ارمان حسین نور حبل حسین جواب آزادہ رو نور نظر فاطمہ کی جان حالے جنت سے وہ کا کرتی ہوئی فاطمہ آئی سر پیٹ کے یوں کہنے لگی ہائے حسین
نور نظر فاطمہ کی جان حسین نور نظر فاطمہ کی جان حسین
حالے بھوکے رہے پیاسے رہے دریا کے کنارے 10ویں کو گلا تیرا کتا حسین نور
نظر فاطمہ
کی جان حسین نور
نظر فاطمہ
کی جان حسین ہو گئی برباد ہے زینب میں کہتی تھی زینب کہتی تھی زینب برباد ہے زینب بلا میں کہتی تھی زینب ہائے حسین ہو گئی برباد ہے زینب کرب و بلا میں
کہتی تھی زینب ہائے حسین کہتی تھی زینب ہائے
حسین
ہو گئی برباد
سے لامی بیویوں کے سر پر نہیں چادر آؤ مدد کے لیے بابا حسین
ہو گئی
برباد ہے زینب لامے تیروں پہ اصغر نیزے پہ اکبر فاطمہ کی لٹی کمائی زینب ہائے حسین برباد ہے زینب لامے بیویوں کے سر پر نہیں چادر آؤ مدد کے لیے بابا میں کہتی تھی زینب زینب رسال حسین بیالا رسیل کنا سادہ حسین بیالا رسیل کنا سادہ رسال حسین رسال حسین بیالا رسیل کنا سادہ رسال حسین بیالا رسیل کنا
رسال حسین
بیالا رسیل کنا حسین مولا علی بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا سادہ رسول حسین بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا رسول حسین رسول حسین بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا سادہ رسول حسین بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا حسین بھی اعلیٰ رسول کنا حسین شہید کربلا و ویلا لا این شب جناب فاطمہ و ویلا لا عباس علم دارم چی شد و ویلا لا عزو علی امامکم و ویلا ویلا عباس علم دارم چی شد و ویلا لا نادے علین علین یا علی نادے علی علی بادشاہ جن و بشر یا علی علی نادے علین علین یا علی علی وویلا وویلا لا وویلا یا مظلوم یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا
قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین پیٹو سر لے ازا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین پیٹو سر لے ازا لاشا حسین مادر قاسم نے لاش پھیرو کر کہاں ہو گئی تم کو قضا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد شاہ حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین پیٹو سر لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین سن کا کروں کیا بیان سال تھا وہ 13واں آئے پوررواں چلا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا حسین تو سر لے ازا لاتے ہیں حسین باپ کا نور نظر اماں کا لفظ جگر خلد پسند آ گیا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین پیٹو سر لے ازا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین قاسم نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین نوشاد کا لاتے ہیں لاشا حسین آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا اجڑا مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا اجڑا مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں زینب آپ کو نراسا یا محرم کا مہینہ برباد ہوئی میں آباد ہوئی بلا اجڑا مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں ایک دن تھا کہ اس شہر کی کرتی تھی میں شاہی اور آج تباہی بے غسل پڑا مور نبوت کا نگینہ برباد ہوئی میں آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا اجڑا مدینہ برباد ہوئی کس لاش پہ روک سے چوڑوں میں برادر لاشیں ہے 72 حد یہ ہے کہ رونے کی اجازت بھی ملی نہ برباد ہوئی میں آباد ہوئی کرب اجڑا مدینہ برباد اصغر کا گلا بھائی کا سر سینہ اکبر سب گوہر و چادر اس جشن میں لوٹا گیا زینب کا خزینہ برباد ہوئی
میں آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا اجڑا مدینہ آخر کا وقت کہنا میرا یہ سلام ہے سب عاشق حسین کو میرا سلام ہے دنیا میں سب کو جلد زیارت نصیب ہو حجت جو تیری 14 ان سب کا واسطہ حل کیجئے مشکل میری اب دیر ستم ہے عباس علی تم کو سکینہ کی قسم ہے یا موسی کاظم ہمیں آفت سے چھڑاؤ یا موسی کاظم ہمیں آفت سے چھڑاؤ بہرے حسن حسین مصیبت سے بچاؤ بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات
السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأنا أخذ برحلك عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعل الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخيك الشهيد أبا الفضل العباس وأختك زينب وبنتك سكينة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولاي يا غريب الغرباء السلطان أبا الحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولاي يا حجة الله يا ابن الحسن يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان أجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته مع الصلوات
صل على محمد وآله